Hello, I'm Steve Lester, and we have been interviewing the fabulous cast of the upcoming feature film Say Less. And today, right now, we have with us Miss Kathleen Bostick, who is playing the character of Jazmine Jones. Hey, Kathleen, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am absolutely wonderful. So, in the movie, you are playing the part of Jazmine Jones. Tell me a little bit about this character and how you fit into it. And is this person a lot like you, or was this a stretch for you to play?
She's definitely a lot like me. I think that we're like 50% the same person and 50% totally different. As
Okay.
as humans, we all have assets and liabilities that we can all play into our characters. And one of my assets is definitely being very academically driven. And that's exactly like Jazmine. She cares about school, she cares about ambition, she wants to go somewhere. She sort of struggles to find a balance of being able to have fun and hang out with her friends and just like completely let loose, as well as still keeping up her academic excellence. And that's very similar to me. And Jazmine is still a very bold person.
Okay. Wow, that is pretty in depth. You almost gave us a couple of spoilers, but you kept it you kept it pretty clean though, so it's all good. So seeing that you were so similar to this role in your real life, how did you feel when you got the part? I mean, was this the only part you auditioned for, or was there something else you were interested in, or what was this experience like for you?
Just out of nowhere, it just so happened that Jacki was looking for a character or for an actress to play Jazmine. And so I had gotten the opportunity very last minute. So I really did feel like it was sort of like destiny, just knowing how Jazmine is and knowing that I could easily fit into her as a character. So I didn't actually audition. Now that I think about it, I didn't audition and I didn't have any experience in cheer, but I worked really hard to make sure that I could deliver the product that Jacki entrusted me with her art, as well as the physicality of it, of being able to do the cheers and going to the boot camps and just trying to be as present as I could, even though I did not audition. So just giving her that trust that was important to create a feature film.
Right. So when you got the part, and then that process of, you find out you got the part, and then preparation, getting ready for filming days and all of that. What was that process like? Was that a long process?
I think that I wouldn't describe it as a long process or even like something that had the concept of time, I guess. I would more so describe it as a very consistent mindset. And
Hmm.
as I was trying to get into the character of Jazmine, being a cheerleader, like she has cheer experience. So going home and, being diligent enough to be able to stretch at home, as well as doing everything else in your life. And I grew up as a gymnast, and gymnasts are not a big fan of cheerleaders. So it's very
Oh wow.
ironic that I ended up embodying a cheerleader. So, the culture is different. It's very similar, but it's also different.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a very interesting take. I did not realize that the gymnasts and cheerleaders had this whole like Bloods and Crips thing going. Like they hate each other like that. But okay. So tell me, what was it like? Because we have been going through some unprecedented times for the last year. So what was it like filming in a pandemic, and the preparation for that and safety and all that? What was that like?
It's kind of crazy to realize that you can actually still create art in this moment of time.
Mm,
But making sure that like we were prepared, like as actresses and actresses, making sure that we didn't have to take extra time to refilm something simply because, we're doing a lot at once. But I've never shot a feature film before. So this was my first feature film to have been filming it. The fact that it was in quarantine it was a very interesting experience. But we actually filmed over, I think, 4 weekends, and it might have been
okay.
a little bit longer, but I definitely filmed 3 to 4 weekends, which is a pretty small amount of time when you're filming something that's like an hour to an hour and a half. So
Right.
just the time, the condensing of time, I needed to make sure that I did have all 7 scenes that I had to memorize. I needed to make sure that I was very prepared for that, and
Hmm.
so doing that was certainly an adjustment, but because of quarantine, I had a little extra time, so it was okay.
Okay. Sounds good. So, what was it like? How would you describe Jacki as a producer and a director?
Oh my gosh, like, and so I would describe her in so many ways. She's a very obviously she's a creative person, but she's so flexible, like she's so open. And the most important part about being an artist is simply being open and being open to playing and exploring and discovering. And I loved how her as a director, she wrote what was on the paper and then left the actress to do whatever they please with that, as long as it fit the overall theme and dynamic and tonality of what she was going for. And I really respect that, because it's an interesting balance of trying to figure out how I can collaborate with someone else and still be able to be equal on the theme that she's going for and the voice that she's trying to tell. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a vessel, but I'm also a vessel who has something to say, who has, you know, art that I want to give to the world. And I think that she really respected that. And so now going into the industry and, you know, searching for more feature film opportunities, that's what I look for in a director. That's my expectation now. So having that be the first experience for me, I mean, it's an honor. It's a beautiful experience that I can say, well, now I have what I need. I have the tools, the emotional tools and expectations to find my boundaries for other directors in feature films that I may be considered for.
Okay. Were there any other like difficulties or frustrations during filming? Sounds like it just went really smooth for you. You just kind of flow right into it.
I mean, it's always a challenge to, you know, it's always a challenge to be put in someone else's place. But I think that the challenges we experienced were, you know, that we problem solved them and we got through them, whether it was angle or frame or heat. My goodness, it was hot at times. Like, and my castmates, they were very supportive, and, you know, we ran lines when we needed to. And when we didn't remember, you know, Jacki was very open to us just refilming it. And it's just like the comfortability of it. That's the difference, is the comfortability of it. That's what makes these challenges have the perspective of something that's more of an experience rather than like a negative challenge that we experience. So I would say it was a beautiful moment, beautiful experience.
Okay. Were there any characters in the movie that made you angry? Who and why?
Well, my older brother Greg, we have a love-hate relationship just like any other sibling. But as Jazmine, as a Black girl in general, we want the opportunity to be able to grow and prosper into our own personalities, to be able to make our own decisions, to be able to say and feel like we have control over something. And my older brother was very protective. He got angry because of, you know, my love interest. And so finding, you know, it's just the dynamic of that relationship made me really angry, because I felt like he was almost limiting my say in the world. And at this age, all we want is to, you know, do what we want and make our mistakes and learn from them. And I don't really feel like sometimes he gave me that liberty and that freedom. And so definitely Greg. I would say he's number one. But also, secondly, I would also say Imani, because later on she does something that makes me kind of angry and very uncomfortable, and figuring out how to overcome that, you know, that little obstacle in our relationship. But we're both I'm a pretty mature character. So it's not as difficult for me to get hung up and hold grudges for those things. So because of Jazmine's character, you know, it's less of an anger and more of like a frustration, but let's get over it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So did you or anyone else do a lot of messing up? Were you messing up a lot? Did you flub a lot of your lines? Are you going to make the blooper reel?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Yeah, you're going to tell me you don't remember how many times they had to say, stop, cut.
No, it doesn't.
They didn't have to do that for you?
I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes, but I'm a very type A person. I love to be prepared. I love to be on top of my lines. And I actually get kind of scared when I don't know my lines, but we rehearsed. And that's the beauty of filmmaking, is that you can rehearse beforehand. And then when they say action, like that's when there's less mistakes. I would say blocking was a difficult thing for me to get used to, just because I'm still new to filmmaking. And so remembering where to be and which, area that I moved to on this line, that was a little bit challenging, but I think overall it was pretty smooth.
Okay. What was your overall experience like being on the set? Did you know anybody prior to working on this set, or it was everybody to you brand new?
Everyone to me was brand new. Every single person was brand new. And I'm an extrovert, but I'm sort of like in the ambivert kind of area, where if I don't know a lot of people, or I feel like a lot of people are close and I'm like the oddball out, then I'll get a little bit quiet and get a little bit intimidated. So having to, put myself out there and realize that, like, at the end of the day, I am delivering a service, and part of that service is being comfortable with my castmates, because it shows, the chemistry shows on the camera. So, I definitely, I got along with a lot of people. They were so incredible, but sort of having to be in a place where I didn't know anyone, that was a little bit scary. But sometimes fear is good, because it can lead to a lot of beautiful things. And I think that's why my overall experience was beautiful. And I met so many great people, so many great people who do different things, come from different places with different backgrounds, and a lot more to teach you. And that's the beautiful part about the filmmaking process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that experience behind you now, would you do it all over again if you were given another chance? Exact same way. Just like, yeah.
If I could do it all over again, I probably would do it the exact same way. I don't have any regrets. I don't feel that I limited myself in any way. And I don't feel like any of the cast did, or even Jacki. I think that we were all just trying to figure it out. And that's a pretty awesome thing.
Yes, definitely.
I'll never let go of,
Definitely. So, not everyone knows exactly how this movie is going to end. How excited are you to find out what the end is going to be? Is that going to be something for you?
Yeah, it definitely will be. And I love plot twists. Like, I love plot twists. And that's probably one of the biggest affinities that I had towards the script when I first read it. Was like, I was like, oh my, this is a little more than just love drama, like there's a lot of layers and a lot of complex dynamics to it. And I'm very excited to see who in the audience can pick up on those complexities and can pick up on, the poeticness of it, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to give out into the world. So I'm really excited to see what people think of it, the analysis that they can, develop after, and just the whole thought process that they can interpret from it. I'm very excited.
Good, good. Well, you know what? It was very good getting to know you, Kathleen, and your character. Thank you for being with us today. We definitely appreciate you and everything that you've done to help make this production the best that it can possibly be.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and it was wonderful to meet you.
So you can get your tickets now on Eventbrite. The premiere of Say Less will be on February the 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a free premiere, but donations are welcome to help support this movie and all future endeavors from Slim X Productions. No donation amount is too small. Slim X Production does thank you in advance for the support and interest in this rising production film company and all the people that are involved. I'm Steve Lester, and thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you the next time.